April of 1912, April the 10th in Southampton Water. There was two of them. There was the Olympic and there was the Titanic. But the Titanic was by far the most famous. She nearly had a disaster even at the beginning of the start of the trip, because the suction from her great propellers shifted another ship, and it was only because Captain Smith shut down at the right moment that there wasn't a disaster even when she set off from Southampton. These still pictures record the scene. The Titanic was indeed a terrible tragedy, really. The lifeboats you see here. Now, one of the factors, the most damning factor perhaps of all, was there was lifeboat room for about 1,000 people, just over 1,000 people, and there were over 2,000 people on board. So that when the terrible moment came, the 14th of April, 1912, and she sank, things like these wooden deck chairs that you see there on the right were slung into the water, and people had to hang on to them as best they could. She was terribly modern in her day. In the days when everything was driven by steam, even a simple thing like an electric crane greatly attracted the attention of the cameraman who made this film. Incidentally, this film was shown about 10 days after the sinking of the Titanic. You're seeing it just as it was screened to audiences a short time after. Here's Captain Smith. They only had a very short bit of film of him, so they have to keep repeating it. So poor Captain Smith keeps turning his head all the time because they only had a few feet, and they kept printing it out and repeating it over and over again. Well, now, in this fake newsreel, this shows Bon Voyage from Southampton, and was shown as a scene, a genuine newsreel scene of the Titanic leaving Southampton. But as the scene progresses, some rather odd things begin to happen in this newsreel. As the ship moves out, we see a series of tugs come into view, and on the back of them, the great white blobs there. You see one tug with a white blob, and here's another tug coming into view on the side there with another white blob on it. And in fact, this is a fake newsreel. On those tugs, it says almost certainly the words New York, and they're covering up this fact that it's the Olympic. What's happened here probably is they heard about the Titanic. It's still being faked, you see. They got some quick shots of the Olympic. They look virtually identical, these two sister ships. They were both absolutely magnificent inside, these interior scenes of the Titanic, and of course the Olympic was decked out in the same way, quite magnificent. There were those terrible stories of how this great mass of heavy furniture shifted in the last moments when the ship was sinking. The whole mass of this stuff slowly moved across the floor and crashed. This is the only genuine shot we actually have of the Titanic incident. The Carpathia, which picked up most of the 700 people that were rescued, but of course 1,500 people were drowned when the Titanic went down, and only 700 picked up by the Carpathia. She got a wireless message at the very last minute, dashed to the scene. Here you see, of course, that happened at night, this contemporary drawing of the last moments of the Titanic going down, struck by an iceberg, the hull ripped from one end to the other, enormous gash.